In this tutorial we're going to take a look at Write and Cite, which is an application of RefWorks that enables you to add to a Microsoft Word document that you're working on in-text citations pulled from your RefWorks database. So it can be a real time saver when you're working through an essay or your thesis and trying to keep track and make the appropriate links between works that you've consulted and your treatment of them in your paper. We're going to start off here at www.lib.unb.ca, and down the left hand column of the page click on RefWorks. This is the page where you come to learn more about RefWorks and engage with some of the tutorial material. What we're going to do is go over here on the right under Using RefWorks and click on Write and Cite. Get the plugin. There's a couple of options here. One is for a Windows-based computer and one is for Macintosh. I'm working on a PC, so I'm going to click on Windows, but the process is more or less the same for both. I can run it or save it. In this case, I'm not really all interested in saving it to my computer. I'm just going to run it directly from the site, which should launch the installation process. And I'm just going to choose the defaults as they're presented to me here. Make sure this one is there for sure, adding the Write and Cite to the toolbar in Microsoft Word. And it's done. It asks me if I want to start Write and Cite now, and I'm going to choose no for the time being because, for one thing, I have not followed the instructions for off-campus users yet, and secondly, I just want to show how you access it through Microsoft Word. So click no here. These instructions are pretty important, because if you don't follow them, what's going to happen is when you try to log into Write and Cite, you're going to be asked to provide a group code, your school's group code, and we don't use that. So if you come up against that, it means that these instructions weren't followed properly. So it's telling us to go to the Start menu, go to the Programs and choose RefWorks, and then the WNC Proxy Configuration Utility. I've already done this, so it's already storing this web address. But what you're going to want to do is copy and paste this into the Write and Cite Configuration Utility box here. I'll click OK. All's good. And now I'm going to open Microsoft Word and start a new document. Depending on your version of Word, you may see Write and Cite presented in one of these menus, or the horizontal toolbar up at the top. That's not the case for me. My Write and Cite is stored in the add-ins, and I'm running Microsoft Word 2007. When I click on Write and Cite from here, I'm going to close this, and it should launch and prompt me to log in, and here I'm going to use the same name and password that I use when logging into RefWorks. By default, it presents all the references that are stored in your RefWorks database. There's a good chance that you're going to want to filter out the ones you're not going to use for a paper. In my case, how I'm going to do that is by going to a particular folder I associate with the work at hand. So I go to the View menu here, Folder, and I'm going to choose 6902, which contains some references I pulled from Eric for the purposes of this demonstration. The other thing I'm going to do here is click on this checkbox here in the upper left, Always on Top. And what this enables me to do is I can type over here and still see and use Write and Cite over here. This can be kind of handy. Now let's say that This piece of text is something that I lifted from John Alquist's paper, Game Development Essentials, Game Artificial Intelligence. So I want to cite that here. All I have to do is click on the cite hyperlink to the left of the citation, and then you'll see that it adds this pseudo gibberish piece of code to my paper, wherever my cursor was. And it's highlighted by default. When we process the bibliography at the end, it will change these codes into the properly formatted citation and then pull them into a bibliography. But for the time being, they look like this. If you want to have a preview of how they'll eventually look, go up here to the upper right of Write and Cite while the EndNote or the in-text note is highlighted to the left, and click on Edit Citation. Here it gives us a little preview of what it's going to look like. We can change the output style if we wanted to, just like that. We'll stay with APA 6th. And then you have some options here if you wanted to manipulate the text around the citation, like if I wanted to put a C in front or something like that. For now, I'm just going to accept it as it is and cancel it. Back to our paper, clicking outside the citation so it's no longer highlighted. I can add another here. Up over here and click on Cite beside one. And then a couple more for the demo. Finally, period. Now that I'm done, back to Write and Cite, I can click on Bibliography, check to be sure that it's the style that I want, click on the Create Bibliography, and it processes what I've done in my Microsoft Word document, changing the references to proper format and pulling them together in a bibliography at the end of the paper. So it's as easy as that. There are some other things you can do with Write and Cite which we won't cover here, but I would encourage you, if you have time, to go back, click off always on top here, go back to the RefWorks page and explore some of the tutorials and Q&As and those sorts of things that might help you with advanced functionality. And always bear in mind that you can contact me, Mark Bragdon, at any time. And my email address is mbragdon@unb.ca. Thanks and take care.